Japan's streaming addiction is turning into a structural drag on the yen. That's according to analysts at Barclays. They say the rising flow of Japanese money overseas to pay for services like Netflix and Amazon is knocking the currency. Let's bring in Bloomberg's Paul Dobson with the very latest. Paul, this story is fascinating, right? So why is Japan's so-called digital deficit a problem for the currency, the yen?
Yeah, so fun one for a Friday, Francine. The Barclays guys have been looking into Japan's current account and figuring out that actually it has this really big kind of deficit, this big outflow that's becoming persistent and growing for what it calls IT services or digital deficit. So when they dug into what exactly that meant, they found the Japanese are paying billions of dollars for subscription services to stream video, for music, for electronic books, for internet advertising, and so on. And it all adds up to something that's, equivalent to about $35 billion of payments going out of the yen and into the dollar and other currencies. So, that has the effect of putting a little bit of a downward pressure on the yen when everything else is balancing out, a bit of a hole there in the accounts. And so that's why they see it as something that could be, a negative and a permanent drag on the yen, because it's not going away anytime soon.
So, Paul, the yen's fallen more than 5% against dollar this year. What's the outlook from analysts at Barclays?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's not all it takes to determine the currency, according to Barclays. So they're actually pretty bullish for the yen over the coming year. They think that inbound tourism is going to have a much bigger impact than this digital deficit that they're talking about. Plus, they see the potential for the BOJ to start tweaking its yield curve control some more later in the year. So they're looking for some appreciation towards the 123 by the end of Q1 next year. So quite a long way from where we are at the moment, around the 138 level. So doesn't have that huge a bearing on the overall direction of the currency, but it is something that is interesting to note, Francine.